Researchers did finally figure out how to make biological AI, yes, living AI, and we are finally at the point of scaling it. They also had to recreate the process of evolution, which I find objectively hilarious that we keep rediscovering problems in our development. There are a lot of benefits to having living AI and also some very distinct challenges, but we'll talk about it. People have, for the last 2 years, been making brain organoids. Yes, these little brain blobs. They are human stem cells that have been grown into a miniature version of the human brain, and they can do a lot of stuff, including running a robot and do those simple computation tasks. They are better at some things versus linear algebra. They're better at running a soft, squishy body, because us humans run soft, squishy bodies. LLMs are just not suited for it. They are delightfully good at pattern recognition and navigation in 3D spaces, and you can embody them in a video game. But really, where they have a lot of applications is medical research, and you can throw them together as an assembloid with other organoids like a spinal cord or a stomach or a heart if you really want to. This creates a model of a human being that is a little bit more close to a human being because it actually is made of human cells for things like medical testing. This is some of the most fascinating and disturbing research. It just makes a lot of people uncomfortable. But there is a problem for our smooth little friends, and I mean that literally. They don't really have brain wrinkles the way that we do, which we think increases surface area. It can be difficult to get nutrients into the blob, and they tend to suffer from hypoxia, and that can be partially mitigated. They need better media that allows their neurons to fire, and they also need something to do. They don't really do all that well when we just grow them in isolation. They can be given a circulatory system that has been done. They can also be lobbed together like Legos to form a greater brain organoid. In fact, they're able to do more complex tasks when they have multiple neural types, and they do better when they're older. Not so old that they start to deteriorate, mind you. They can be made two-dimensional, yes, flat brains. It solves a lot of problems. There's better oxygen flow, you can get nutrients to individual cells, and they can also grow indefinitely with some trade-offs. For now, mind you, these can be assembled into a biological neural network in which each individual node processes information and trades it back and forth. In this setup, you can actually replace one if it expires, and the old ones can train the new ones. For this paper, they made a two-dimensional neural network, and this is a literal biological neural network. They were able to decipher images, including handwriting, which is actually pretty impressive and a lot to ask of a sheet of cells. One of the other benefits to using biological neural networks is they're able to process time. That's something that LLMs typically have a lot of trouble with. They are just a text prediction engine, and they don't have any internal clock. But something biological operates on spiking networks, so the distance between spikes, the time that passes, is important for processing information, so there is a built-in clock. Even if you do not know what time it is, your brain does, somewhere in there. It's why you need sleep. This group from Princeton made 3D minds, and it combines methods for both 2D and 3D brain organoids. They innervated brain organoids with this three-dimensional mesh that they grew around. This allows them to have contact with each individual neuron and pull data from each individual neuron. This is a lot like the folds of the brain. We have an increase in contact, so you can pull as much information as possible from it. Nothing is wasted. As we make more complex brain organoids, there is going to be the question what we are limiting them in doing. If we grew a human brain, which I guess we kind of are, around these electrodes, is it going to interfere with how they're connecting or what kind of information that they can process? We don't know that yet. One of the things that entertains me most about this is that we are rediscovering what evolution took billions of years to figure out. We've seen organisms grow from having very simple brains to having very complex ones. This is why I say, by the way, that it is better to borrow from nature rather than figure it out the hard way, but us humans love to figure things out the hard way. Now, something you might ask is how useful could this be for scaled-up AI? Chances are you will not have it on your home computer, although that would be nice. There are already organoid data centers out there, and they're largely used for research. We've seen a few of those companies like Cortical Labs or Final Spark that sell subscriptions for the use of their brain organoids, and there's even a brain organoid computer you could purchase if you really want to. It's $30K. We have already seen these systems being scaled up, and the benefit is that they use far less power. Again, your brain operates on 20 watts, as I love to say, not a particularly bright light bulb. The drawbacks are, of course, that they can't really do linear algebra, although you can combine a brain organoid with AI, and they could operate different parts of the system, which would significantly reduce power consumption. My honest belief, if I had to make a projection, is that we will probably move to physical reservoir computing. I really don't think biological reservoir computing, although we could end up having biovats of brain organoids doing computation, which is cursed. It is absolutely cursed. As these things develop, I will definitely keep you updated. I hope you've enjoyed this. Follow for more.